In this video, we'll take a look at how to create a new photo slider, as well as how to create the code behind it. There's actually more than one way to do this, so I will show you both of the ways that I could suggest to you. And to start with, we do need to be in your photo slider folder, and let's open up the spreadsheet. And also open up the code for the photo slider. And just a little bit of background on this. Let's take a look at the first lines in the photo slider. You'll see that there is a spreadsheet ID needed in here. That spreadsheet ID comes directly from the spreadsheet. It's the information between those two slashes after the D. The other information is what page of the spreadsheet, which in this case it is the home page. So both of these informations come from are variables from the spreadsheet. One way to create a new slide presentation is to go into your spreadsheet and create a new page. You can do this by duplicating the current page. Once it's open, you would rename it. In my case, I'm going to rename it to birthday. You might have a field trip, you might have a different category that you want. Whatever you want to name it doesn't matter. The reason I duplicated the page instead of just starting a new one was because I wanted to maintain the headers in line 1 and 2. Next, let's jump over to the URLs. If you recall, these URLs can be updated by going into your add-ons and opening up the Awesome Gallery. And then once this is open, I can just go in and update my photos by selecting my new photo album. And of course, this would mean that you would have already had pictures that you wanted to update or have loaded in your Google Photos. And remember, they must be in a shared album. So once that's set, simply update the photos. And of course, it's taking over and jumped over to start to open up the Awesome Gallery. I don't really need that, so close that back down. And we're back on our spreadsheet where you can see the all the URLs being loaded. I copy those URLs, and then I can come to my birthday page, and with Control V, I paste them in. There's over 100 of them. Remember to clean up your sheet by getting rid of all the extra lines. It will just keep things moving quicker. So I'm just going to highlight a bunch of these. I think it added 1,000 lines, because you could see how small my scroll is on the right. I'm just going to delete these, and it highlights the next group. I delete those two. I'll just keep highlighting until I'm back to the top, and I'll keep on deleting them. There we go. Okay, so now I have my pictures here. I'm on my birthday page. I'm going to get rid of these. You would be adding your new alt text information. So now that I have my page on my spreadsheet set up the way I want it, remember to put all your alt tags in. All I need to do is link it to a code page. So in order to do that, I'm actually going to create a new code. On my photo slider, I do a, I can get rid of that. That happens, the automatic thing. Delete that. Photo slider, I'm going to do a right mouse click and make a copy. On the code, for some reason, it publishes the document on your main Google Drive page. So I like to keep things in separate folders, so I'm going to just drag that into my folder. And now when I double click on photo slider, I see the copy of my photo slider. I'm going to rename this one, and I would suggest you rename it immediately because it's so easy to be in the wrong codes. So I'm going to open it up by double clicking on my birthday code. And you can see it's still using the same spreadsheet, which is correct, but now I need to update the page. And I typed birthday with a capital B. It must be exact. So in here, I'm going to change this to birthday with a capital B. And by hitting publish and deploy as a web app, that will save my work. It also, because it's a new code, is going to ask me to verify who I am. So I'll do that. I'll make sure that it is set up for anyone to view. Click Update, review the permissions, identify yourself, and say Allow. So now I can go back into my published and look at my current script. These are very large pictures, and my internet is slow because I'm also videoing. So here are my pictures. They should start scrolling themselves soon. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my code set up. I have the pictures rotating. The pictures that I want are rotating. The code is pulling it from my birthday page instead of my home page, so all that is good. The next step is having it show up on my website. To do that, I can use this script URL, and by activating that cell and hitting Control A, I can highlight the whole thing with Control C. I copy that script URL. On my website, I go into Embed, and I'm going to use Control C to paste that URL, and then hit Insert. Once the photos are on my web page, I can move them around, I can resize them. In this case, I have to make sure that I stretch this holder out a little bit so that it gets the entire bottom of the script. And remember to keep these photos all the same, the same size, so that they all end at the same place. You'll notice that if you have photos too long, they won't all show up. I wanted to show you another step. If you're embedding your photos somewhere that has a colored background, you'll see that you can see that white border. I'm going to try to eliminate that. And the way that I would do that is to get the HTML color that I'm using. So I'm just going to select a color, and you'll see that when you do that, it grabs the HTML color code. There's a lot of ways that you can get the color code on a lot of different sites, and a lot of different free applications. But however you're going to get the code for the color, then go into the CSS page. The first couple lines there, you'll notice that it says background color. You're going to paste the new color code on top of the old one. And I just noticed I made a little mistake there because there's 2 pound signs for the color code. So I'm going to have to jump in and correct that. Get rid of that extra pound sign, and once again go up to Publish, Deploy as a web app. That will save my work, and I have to update the project version. Hit Update, and now we should see a colored background. If I click View My Latest Script, I can see it here. And also if I go to the website and refresh the page, you'll see that that white border will disappear because it will be pulling a blue border, the same color. So that's how you would embed a photo album into a website. But let's take this a step farther now. Let's say that for this particular photo group, you're not going to be the one controlling it. You want to have somebody else be able to upload photos. To do that, you want to share a spreadsheet. But you may not want to share the current spreadsheet that you're using. So I'm going to make a copy of my spreadsheet and rename it. And I'm going to imagine that because I called the page birthday, that maybe these are the parties at school, or that the category would be called parties. So I renamed my spreadsheet parties. I could share this spreadsheet with a different individual, but let's clean it up a little bit. First of all, because I copied it, my home information, photos, is also in here. So to clean this up a little bit, you can delete the home page within the spreadsheet, and they'll want to keep the birthday information and the URLs. But now let's take a look at the top here. The thing that has changed is the spreadsheet. So once again, I'm going to highlight and with Control-C, copy the new spreadsheet information, make sure that I'm on my birthday code, and simply change that with Control-V to paste my new spreadsheet. Publish this again, updating it. Now you have an entirely new spreadsheet being used for this particular code. Once again, you can copy the code URL from in here, and in this case we would update this. Even though it's going to look exactly the same, this is now a new code URL, so I have to change this by inserting it, with Control-V, and once again repositioning my photos, and then spreading it out a little bit, making it taller. And you could see that it's maintaining the color for the background and everything else. So I'm just going to make that happen. Now I'm ready to publish this or do what I want with it. And this gives you the ability to share the spreadsheet with somebody else. They will be able to update their own images, but they will not be able to see your spreadsheet or your images, so in that way they won't mess them up. I hope that is helpful to you.